From Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Hi, I'm Sarah Murphy. Thanks for joining us tonight for ABC4 News at 5. We're starting tonight taking a look at a proposed bill. This proposal in the Utah Legislative is looking to add photo radar to school zones and construction sites to identify speeding cars. ABC4's Annika Johns joins us live with more.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. Senate Bill 105 is looking to amend current restrictions in place for photo cops, which are cameras in place used to determine those who are speeding and send citation and fees to the registered home of the vehicle. The bill states that law enforcement are able to use these photo radars in school zones, construction sites, and state routes 85, 184, and sections of SR 89. When speaking with parents and teachers, they say that speeding is definitely a problem in school zones.
Especially down this road, the speed limit here used to be 25 miles, but people were doing at least 45, 50 at the most. And being a mom and I have smaller kids, I don't even let them play in the front yard anymore.
Tuakoy continued saying that just in her own neighborhood and in front of the school near her home, she's seen people drive too fast, hit trash cans, and one nearly hit her own son because of how fast they were driving and because they were distracted by their phone. Reporting live from Salt Lake City, Annika Johns, ABC4 News.
A 22-year-old Utah man is in critical condition after he was riding his motorcycle and collided with a car in Ogden. Ogden police say around 6:30 Saturday night, the motorcyclist was heading northbound near the 25th block of Harrison Boulevard when a Ford Escape made a left turn onto Capitol Street. The motorcyclist then crashed straight into the vehicle. They say he was unresponsive once first responders arrived and was taken to the hospital. Police say they didn't see any signs of impairment from either driver in the crash. And a suspect is in custody after allegedly posting online about an upcoming school shooting at Roy High School. Roy City police officers say the post talked about a shooting that would take place at the school on Monday, February 27th. Once they found the post, officers say they were able to track down the suspect within the day. The suspect right now being referred to juvenile court. And West Jordan police arrested a 37-year-old man after they say he started firing a rifle in his house. Police say Jason D. Darros was intoxicated when he started shooting inside his basement towards his neighbor's house. A relative of Darros then called 911 from outside when Darros pointed a rifle at the family member. Police went to the home and arrested Darros on charges of aggravated assault, felony discharge of a firearm, and criminal mischief. And a moose is relocated after running loose at a construction site in Centerville. Police say people saw the moose running through the new Summerhill development on the north end of town. Officers say they were able to catch the moose and sedate and move it to safety. Now, the Division of Wildlife says if you ever spot a moose, never approach it. Remember to stay calm. They say if a moose charges you, make sure to hide behind something solid like a tree or get inside a nearby vehicle or building. Time now for your pinpoint weather forecast with meteorologist Nate Larson. Now, Nate, the weather seems good enough that moose running on the street. How are things looking outside today?
Yeah, they're coming down because of all the heavy snow in the mountains, and we're seeing a little more wildlife than maybe normal. We do have winds that are whipping. There's some changes on the way. More snow for the mountains, heavy at times. A look from the Colonial flag shot here at the studio. You can see the winds whipping out of the south, showing you some of the winds across the state. In fact, southerly flow is in place ahead of another trough of low pressure. We had one roll through mainly southern and central Utah overnight. Some light snow showers across northern Utah this afternoon and even earlier this morning. But winds are out of the south again ahead of another front that's moving throughout the evening and overnight hours. So winds of 17 miles an hour at the airport, 6 in Provo. Delta winds are whipping at 24 miles an hour, 17 in Cedar City, Blanding 19, 15 in Moab as far as the wind speeds go. Evanston 19 mile per hour winds, Wendover 7 as well. So tugging on the steering wheel a little bit, especially on those east and west corridors. So I-80 as you head out west towards Wendover. A little bit of snow as well. We've got snow out in eastern Nevada, northern Utah. We are tracking some snow showers across our neck of the woods. In fact, as you head north from about Davis County into Weber County, Box Elder County, and especially from Brigham City to Logan, Sardine Canyon is pretty treacherous right now. Snow is on the road and traffic is moving along more slowly. This is kind of the pattern we're going to be seeing into the overnight hours as more moisture increases across the northern valleys. days. We'll see snow increase statewide as we get into Monday morning's drive. So plan on some snowy conditions tomorrow morning as you head out. And temperatures will be right near freezing with breezy winds out of the southeast. For Salt Lake, will be 32 for Salt Lake, just 33 for St. George. We'll talk about snow totals and how long this active pattern is sticking around in the full forecast coming up in just a few. Sarah?
All right. Thank you, Nate. Now, President's Day has come and gone, but President's Day sales still going on for some stores. Now, of course, on top of the sales, you can actually think of presidents on President's Day. ABC4's Craig Wirth did as he put together this report. In fact, you can even go stand on the steps where Rutherford B. Hayes actually stood 143 years ago here in Salt Lake City. And that makes this worth watching.
It has always been a big deal when the president visits Utah, and he always, of course, tells the state, oh, he loves us and where we live. We see that President Ulysses S. Grant was the first to visit Utah in 1875. He stopped in both Ogden and Salt Lake City.
Now, the first photographic evidence that we have of a president visiting Utah, at that time the territory, was President Hayes in 1880 at this very place, the Commander's House at Fort Douglas.
Yes, there indeed is the president at the top of the steps. In a faded copy of the old Salt Lake Herald paper of 1880, we see what was done with the party and what the party did. I especially like where they even put in where there were cheers for each speaker. President Harrison was the next to arrive in Utah. We know he was here twice for parades.
Oh yeah, Main Street. That's a place you'd find a number of presidential visits.
President Teddy Roosevelt also took a trip down Main, as did President Wilson. However, President Hoover found an equally swell parade in the streets of Ogden. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Backing up a few presidents now, Utah really did love President Taft, and he loved Utah. He went to Logan. He was greeted in Ogden. Crowds waited for him in each of his 4 visits here. He tipped his hat to the crowds at the Utah State Fair. He spoke at the Tabernacle. He took a drive with Governor Spry around Salt Lake City. And he took a driver to the course at the Salt Lake Country Club. He was treated to the best, including nights at the Knutsford, and then he was one of the very first guests at the city's newest hotel in 1912.
Now the brand new Hotel Utah. That was one of the stops for William Howard Taft. Oh, he loved the room and he loved the food.
It was a different time because there was no such thing as fly in and fly out. As president, you pretty much were here, so you might as well celebrate.
Of course, back then, all those presidents traveled by train, including FDR, who not only traveled by train but spoke from the train here at Union Station.
It must have been so great to hear what were called whistle-stop speeches. Anywhere the train stopped, the president could say a few words, such as when President Truman stopped in Carbon County. However, it wasn't the same even later in the Truman administration. No long trips. You could fly in and out in hours. But we remember the early presidents in the days before TV coverage and airplanes. Craig Wirth, ABC4 News.
Coming up here on ABC4 News at 5, another major cross-country storm gears up with many states still working to clean up the destruction from this last week's storm. More on that right after the break.